Warm greetings everyone. Welcome to a group video presentation on the topic life cycle analysis of a coconut oil, one of the Kerala's most iconic and widely used products. So what exactly is life cycle analysis? It is a method used to evaluate the environmental impact of a product from the moment it is raw. Materials are collected from the nature towards the market and towards the drain. In simple terms, it tracks a product from cradle to grave. Now our group have chosen coconut oil to explain about life cycle analysis. Why? Because Kerala is the largest coconut producing state in India, which is contributing nearly 45% of the country's total coconut output. Coconut is deeply embedded in our culture, used in cooking, medicine as well as cosmetics. Yet very few people think about the environmental cost behind that bottle of coconut in our kitchen shelves. Our presentation today will walk you through the life cycles of the coconut oil in your shelves. From the farm to the factory, from the shelf to the train. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, I will be covering the first stage of the life cycle, raw material extraction, which in this case is coconut farming. Kerala has approximately 34.2 lakh hectares of land under coconut cultivation. The coconut palm is often called Kalpavriksha, meaning the tree which gives everything, and for a good reason. Every part of this tree is useful. However, coconut farming does have an environmental impact. A single coconut tree requires 140 to 160 liters of water per day. In areas with low rainfall, farmers depend on groundwater irrigation, which can put pressure on local water resources. Another concern is the use of fertilizers and pesticides. Excessive use of chemical fertilizers can lead to soil degradation and water pollution, especially when they run off into nearby lakes and backwaters, which are very sensitive ecosystems in Kerala. On the positive side, coconut palms also benefit the environment. They absorb carbon dioxide during growth and act as a carbon sink. A mature plantation can capture a significant amount of carbon dioxide every year, helping to reduce the overall carbon footprint. Overall, the farming stage has a relatively lower environmental impact compared to later stages, but water usage and chemical inputs still need careful management. Thank you.
So moving on to the next stage, we have processing and manufacturing, which is where the raw coconut is transformed into the oil we use. The process begins with copra making. Copra is the dried kernel of the coconut. There are two main methods. One is sun drying, which is the traditional and energy efficient way, and the next is smoke drying or clean drying, which is faster but releases harmful smoke and contributes to air pollution. Once copra is ready, oil is extracted. There are three main methods to extract oil from copra. So one is cold pressed extraction, which is the most eco-friendly, no heat, no chemicals, and the oil retains its nutrients. And the second one is expeller press, uses mechanical pressure with some heat, moderate energy use. And the third option is solvent extraction, which uses chemical solvents like hexane to extract maximum oil. Most efficient commercially, but raises concerns about chemical residues and environmental safety. Processing units consume significant electricity and thermal energy. Many small-scale mills in Kerala still run on firewood, contributing to deforestation and air pollution. One more important topic is that coconut processing generates several byproducts like shell, husk, and oil cake are produced in large quantities. If these are not managed properly, they become waste. However, if utilized correctly, they become valuable resources, which member 6 is going to explain in detail. So the processing stage is the most energy intensive phase and represents one of the biggest environmental hotspots in coconut oil's life cycle.
Hi, today I'm going to talk about packaging and distribution of coconut oil. Packaging and distribution are very important stages in the life cycle of coconut oil because they directly affect the environment. Let's talk about the packaging. Coconut oil is usually packed in glass bottles, plastic pouches, and tin containers. Each type has its own advantages and disadvantages. Glass bottles are environmental friendly because they can be used and recycled, but at the same time they are heavy. So transportation becomes more difficult and increase fuel usage. Plastic pouches are lightweight and low cost, so they are easy to carry and transport. But the problem is they create a lot of plastic pollution, which is harmful to the environment. Tin containers are strong and recyclable. However, the production requires more energy, so they also have some environmental impact. Next is distribution. Coconut oil is transported from production unit to market consumers. This is usually done using trucks, ships, or other vehicles that use fossil fuels. fossil fuels. Because of this, distribution contributes to greenhouse gas emission and increase the carbon footprint. If the transportation distance is long, like export to other states or countries, the environmental impact becomes even higher. On the other hand, using locally produced coconut oil can reduce transportation distance, fuel consumption, and pollution. So it is more sustainable.
Let's move on to the next. I'll be explaining the use phase and consumer impact in the life cycle of coconut oil. Use phase refers to what happens after the coconut oil reaches the consumer. Coconut oil has a shelf life about 1 to 2 years and is widely used in daily life, especially in Kerala. It is mainly used as a cooking medium for hair and skin care and in traditional medicine. In Kerala, it is an essential part of everyday life. From an environmental point of view, the use phase has relatively low direct impact because it does not involve major energy use or emissions. However, consumer behavior plays an important role. One major issue is wastage. When coconut oil is expires and is thrown away, it contributes to waste. Another common problem is pouring used oil into the sinks, which can block pipes and pollute water bodies. Compared to other oils like palm oil, coconut oil, especially when sourced locally, has a lower environmental impact. So even though the stage seems simple, consumers have a responsibility. By avoiding waste and disposing of oil properly, we can reduce environmental impact. Thank you.
Good afternoon to one and all. Myself Amina Fasna. I am continuing the topic with end of life and waste management of coconut oil. The end of life and waste management of coconut oil is mainly focuses on how products are disposed or how coconut oil byproducts are disposed or managed after use. So the disposing of cooking oil in its drains are a major problem. So we can convert the cooking oil into a fuel or a biodiesel. Okay, that's a major use of cooking oil. Then we can convert the coconut parts into different matters. Like coconut is a zero waste product. So we can convert the shell of the coconut into activate carbon. Then we can convert the husk into a coir which can be converted into ropes, mats, etc. So we can convert the oil cake after extraction of oil from the coconut. We get an oil cake after the extraction of oil from the coconut. That oil cake can be used to feed animals like cows, goats, kind of that animals will eat the oil cake from the coconut. And so we can understand that coconut is a zero waste product and it can be reused, or it is a highly sustainable product. That's all about the coconut reuse or coconut managing, the reuse and the managing of the coconut.
Here we come to the last and final part of our presentation. I'll be explaining about the interpretation, sustainability score, and also the conclusion of our topic. We have now walked through every stage of coconut oil's life cycle. Let me now interpret what we found and offer our final conclusions. So, looking across all stages, two clear environmental hotspots emerge. First is the processing stage. It's actually specifically smoke drying of copra and solvent based oil extraction, um, which are energy intensive and also polluting. Second is the packaging and disposal. Plastic pouches and improper used oil disposal can cause significant environmental damage. The farming stage is relatively sustainable, especially when organic methods are used. The use phase and also the end of life stage actually have strong sustainability potential if consumers and industries make the right choices. Based on our analysis, here are our key recommendations. Processing units should shift to solar powered cold press extraction. Manufacturers should replace plastic pouches with biodegradable or glass packaging. Local governments should set up used cooking oil collection systems for biodiesel production. Consumers should buy locally and avoid wasting oil and also dispose it off responsibly. Now, a final verdict is that
coconut oil, when produced and consumed responsibly, is one of the most sustainable edible oils available. Kerala also has the resources, the tradition, and the infrastructure to make the coconut industry a global model for circular economy and sustainable manufacturing. Thank you all for watching our presentation, and we hope this gave you a deeper appreciation not just for the coconut oil in your kitchen but for the journey it takes to get there.